We want to talk a little bit about the Rosh Hashanah hack, the Jewish New Year, with Rabbi Jacob Amar Rothstein, who is listening to us right now. He is an engineer rabbi. He is an international communicator, director of his own platform, Jewish Philosophy, one of the main sources in Spanish about Judaism worldwide. And we want to talk a little bit about what is coming with this new Rosh Hashanah holiday. We will also connect it with certain current topics. Well, thank you very much for coming to this interview in advance. Rosh Hashanah is coming, a new year in the Jewish calendar, and we would like to talk about what is coming. Why is it so important to celebrate Rosh Hashanah? And what is it that we do in this Rosh Hashanah that we don't do in the regular calendar? Thank you.
Of course, Rosh Hashanah is a very central day in Judaism because, and not only for Jews, in fact, it is a universal day. Because it's when we say that it's like a judgment that is made for humanity. Were you going to say something? No, go ahead.
Please.
No, just that Rosh Hashanah is a key date for Jews and non-Jews alike, as it's a universal judgment. It's mainly for introspection, encouraging you to reflect on what you did well, what you did wrong, and what you can improve during the year. It's very central for that reason, because Judaism, unlike other theologies in the world, always tries to focus its faith not on a person or an idea. We place the ability to improve within ourselves as if human beings are capable of bettering themselves.
And why are these days of Slihot, days of forgiveness before Rosh Hashanah, observed?
According to what tradition says, it's because Moshe went up to Mount Sinai during the month of Elul, and the whole event lasted until Yom Kippur, 40 days that he was on Sinai. It's really because one needs a certain preparation. And what about us, for example? For people who are in Latin America, they know that December feels like a different atmosphere compared to the rest of the year, more festive. I don't know, it's like each month has its own, the air feels different, let's put it that way. The vibe is the same in Judaism. This is a month, Elul, like the vibe, it's more about introspection, about improving, like preparing to really arrive well at the day of judgment.
Now, Jacob greets you, Johnny. It's a pleasure to talk with you. I want to ask why this happens to me. I'll share something I experienced, and I don't know if others do too. But since October 7th, both the Yamin, Moraim, Rosh, Hashanah, and Kippur from last year and those from this year, is what you're saying true? There's kind of an atmosphere, for example, in Latin America, that December marks the end of the year and people want to finish in the best way possible. And it's like, I don't know if it happens to me because we're here or because of the custom, but it's really hard to get into the mood of Rosh Hashanah because of what's happening, because you see what's going on, because of the war, because of the hostages. I don't know how you experience it. And also, well, being a rabbi, how do you deal with it with people?
That's exactly it. In fact, it's no coincidence. Think about it. All the attacks happened on Simchat Torah. This is a significant time, the Hebrew month of Tishrei, with holidays like Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. And they attack us on the day of the holidays. The symbolism, the message they wanted to send us is clear, right? But that's exactly why, as Jews, I think we should remember that where they want to destroy us, we build. That is, if they tried to wipe us out. On this symbolic date, 50 years since the Yom Kippur War on Simchat Torah, well, if they think that with this, then our greatest, in quotes, I don't want to use the word revenge, our proof that we don't let ourselves be defeated is that we build instead of staying down and crying. No, we keep going and investigating. I'm currently at the Begin Center where I just entered a library. They're conducting research here in Israel. We move forward and don't give up, which is the message I want to share. Like about these holidays, when someone tells me no, but October 7th, well, let's build on the ashes.
Still, we have to be careful with that. They chose the date of October 7th because it's known that the military is on vacation, that there's less activity. Connect that directly. Let's be careful.
Of course, but I think that if they had attacked on a day that wasn't necessarily October 7th, it's possible it wouldn't have happened either. Because this, you know what? The fact of not having interpreted the enemy correctly, because that's one of the reasons why it's worth doing. I don't mean religious, I don't consider myself religious, but Jewish. But anyway, if you understand that what they were seeing in us was a society fighting among ourselves, The issue of judicial reform, there were more factors besides the date that we didn't know how to interpret well enough. So I think that goes beyond the date they chose. Rabbi,
I want to ask you something, maybe personal. Will you forgive me? But I want to ask you something personal because I want to know if since October 7th, you personally have felt a kind of closer connection to religion. I understand that you were also in the army since that date. Or on the contrary, or if you were disappointed by what human beings did.
right? I always knew that evil always exists. I mean, you don't have, there's a book about this. It's called Job, in Spanish, Job, because Job has to go through all these bad things so that he knows that evil exists. I mean, also our generation, we heard about our grandparents' experience in the Shoah. There are worse things. I mean, us. And the questions of where was Hashem, where was God during the Holocaust, and all the answers given by the great thinkers like Fackenheim and all of them. Well, our generation experienced a tiny percentage of that, so it didn't surprise me much. What did give me a different perspective was not about us on our level, but about the enemy. I mean, to what extent they can take this barbarity. Many times I was actually very optimistic, many times about the cause, about being able to have an approach with them, even though it never happened. But after this, that idea was kind of broken for me, actually. But in general terms, I think our generation already knew what it was like to go through a catastrophe, and now we got to experience a little bit of that ourselves.
Robino, let me ask you another personal question. One of the biggest challenges for this society since October 7th. Speaking a little about the war, it has to do with the reservists, the people who have put many things aside to serve in the Israel Defense Forces. Beyond your personal matters, family, work, how has it been for you in your case to do both things simultaneously, your job responsibilities, and at the same time having to serve in the army?
Of course, to give people some context, I have served in the army as a reservist, 700 days, let's say. During wartime, I have served about 300 days in the army. For more context, I have a 2-year-old daughter, so I haven't seen her for half her life. It's a huge sacrifice. And I have a page on social media showing us strong on the outside, but obviously we're strong on the inside too. There are times when you do feel a bit of that pressure. What if they call me up as a reservist again? They will, and I'm already supposed to report, but I don't want to. It's very stressful. I don't want to go back because it's suffocating, but I will since we have no other country. No one else will do it, and we won't let Israel be destroyed. The price is high and the experience is not fun at all. If I could share with you a little bit of what it feels like over there. I've spoken with Hamas commanders, I've spoken with Gazans. Some of them, by the way, know Hebrew. Did you know that? The old people from Gaza, they know Hebrew. And what you hear are things that make you wonder, will there ever be peace someday? When you talk to Hamas commanders and they tell you to your face, we want to wipe you out, meaning we want to wipe out Israel. You think, even when they're trapped in combat, wounded by our bullets, they still say that to your face. It's like that hope, like the prophets talked about, that a better world will come. In war, that hope does get a little broken. It's like that, naivety you have when you study all these, worldviews of joy and peace. Even so, I think we shouldn't lose our optimism. Israel, as we've always said, despite the setbacks, we will rise again. But yes, this tension does exist. Of course.
I'll ask you one last question so I don't take up more of your time. Is there any message you want to give for the entire Latin American community and also for those who live here in Israel and for those who live in the diaspora? What message can be given before this upcoming holiday?
Rosh Hashanah. I believe we are living in the best era in the history of Israel. There has never been a better time than this. And as a rabbi, I tell you, is there in the Bible, the Tanakh, tell me a single page that was better than what we are living now? Israel. This is a golden era, and I invite all the brothers of Israel, the Jewish people who are listening, let us try to be a light unto the nations. And to those who are not Jewish and are also listening to this program, this is the moment when you decide which side of history you are on. I believe that Israel is on the right side of history, and there are many false narratives about Israel saying that we do negative things and that we act against others. That is to say, look deeper, investigate more. I believe that being on Israel's side is being on the right path, on the side of humanity. I invite you to be on that right side, and that's basically it.
Rabbi Jacob Amar Rothstein, thanks for joining us, and Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, thanks for your work and greetings.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much. There goes Rabbi Yaakov Rothstein, whom we thank for being with us. Honestly, it was very interesting to be able to talk with him for a while.